Majority of South Africans travelling to work use taxis as their mode of daily transport. It's generally the most affordable for many commuters, but with the rising fuel prices, taxi owners are forced to increase their fares. To make matters worse, food prices are also rising sharply currently. Theo Malele, National Taxi Alliance spokesperson, joins me now to speak how they are trying to deal with the current situation and maybe just help the commuters along the way. Theo Malele, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. A few weeks ago, I spoke to your peers, your colleagues in Santaco. They were saying they were considering increasing taxi fares by July, which is like their usual annual fare increase. They were not sure by how much. But that was before yesterday. That was before we had this new increase in the price of fuel. What is the thinking of the National Taxi Alliance?
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for having me. The thinking, as always, would be the National Taxi Alliance first consults internally and before it can actually effect any tariff changes. There is the process that we are embarking on after learning this, unprecedented fuel price increases of R2.43 per litre and R1.10. For petrol and R1.10 for diesel. With the quick calculations that we've also done in order to ascertain the impact that we'll be facing on a daily basis. With petrol-propelled taxis, we stand to pay more, about 303 rands and 75 cents per day more. And this will then translate to about 6.6 thousand rands per month. And with diesel vehicles, we will have to pay 137 rands and 50 cents per day, and that equates to 3,025 rands per month. And these monthly figures are actually going to eat into our already squeezed margin, leaving us not being able to afford our monthly financial obligations. And this leaves us no alternative but to first ask government to reconsider, removing these frills, these levies on fuel. It is actually making us, unable to breathe as a result. And we're saying to government, it is its responsibility to ensure that its citizenry moves from point A to point B by assistance, and government has actually clearly abdicated its responsibility in that regard, and calling on government to expeditiously relook at its position. And we are going to be embarking on a series of activities. We're crafting correspondences to civic organizations, to organized labor, to ensure that at the end of the day, the incalcitrancy of government by burying its head in the sand like an ostrich comes to an end.
Okay.
We are going to mobilize, and seriously so, and we really are, because it is very painful for us to make increases to people that cannot even afford it because of the situation, the economic situation in the country.
Yes.
And there is something that government can do.
Okay. You've made a couple of points, and very quickly, in the short time we have, I would like to unpack them. You are currently undertaking internal consultations about tariffs increases. I want to take that point first. When are you going to make a decision? And how soon are you going to be able to tell the users of National Taxi Alliance vehicles that you've increased the tariffs? And when will that be? And do you have an idea by how much? You've just given us the numbers of how much more per month it will cost to fill a tank.
No, look, it would not be like, I can't rather maybe give to you a date at which these fares will be increased. But all I can say is that our internal processes are beginning to unfold. We are going to engage robustly, and we also are looking at our costing section to crunch the figures finally, given that fuel has increased by almost over 25% within a year's time. So our guys in the finance department will actually inform us precisely on what kind of increases will we be looking at, but it will not be done within, it should be done within a month's time, at which point we will know precisely what the adjustments will be like.
Okay, but the tariffs will go up, definitely. Okay, now you've made another point that government needs to come to the party. I'm paraphrasing all the points you've made. Needs to come to the party, and when you look and what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, just yesterday the EU banning the imports of virtually all crude oil from Russia. That's going to put more pressure on demand for oil, driving the price of crude oil per barrel even higher than what it is now. It's going to be more expensive for us. Therefore, I guess your point is taken that government needs to come to the party. Are you going to be campaigning for the reduction or removal of levies?
Yes, we are. We are going to mobilize. We are mobilizing our passengers, civic organization, and organized labor for us to join hands and actually impress upon government and exert the necessary pressure on government to relook at the fuel price itself. Because, I mean, you look at for neighboring countries that purchase fuel from us, they in return retail that fuel for a much lesser price. Yes, we understand that we have taxes, for government's functionality, but certainly there are other taxes that government can do away with now, given that there has not also been proper accounting for the funds that have been accrued from that. Case in point, we could be talking about the Road Accident Fund, which we have actually seen in recent years that the monies there have not been utilized properly. And government's responsibility is to ensure that its citizenry moves from point A to point B without any hindrance.
Okay.
And in this case, only black-owned and controlled business, which is the majority public transport mover, is not being catered for. And we're saying to government, it is now time for you to wake up and smell the coffee and do the right thing.
Thank you very much. And that's Theo Malele, National Taxi Alliance spokesperson there, about what the eNCA is going to be doing. Yes, there will be tariff increases coming. They should know within a month or so, he says, but they want government to come to the party and assist the best way it can, including removing or cutting down on some of those fuel levies.